Thank you. Good morning and good afternoon to everybody. I'm happy to be here today to present the IP Enforcement Portal. For this, I will close my camera and I will share the screen to give you the presentation. First of all, just a few words on why the EUIPO is dealing with enforcement matters. We are, as you know, an office that registers trademarks and designs for the European Union. But since 2012, we have been entrusted with the Observatory on infringements of IP rights. So, and the regulation that entrusted us these powers, one of the mandates they gave us was to create online tools to enable the exchange of information between rights holders and enforcers. So just for you to get a context of what we're dealing in the EU with regards to IPR infringements. From the EU trade, 6.8% of all the products we import into the EU market, from all the products we import in the EU market, 6.8% are fakes. The colleagues from customs managed to inspect, if we're optimistic, maybe 1% of all the shipments coming into the EU, which means that all the rest of the products have to be dealt with by the internal market forces, such as police or market surveillance authorities. So what we have to do, we have to try to support our enforcers, both to customs to ensure that they have enough information to make sure that they target the right containers, inspect the right shipments, and also raise awareness with the internal market authorities. And the reply or the response or the solution we've given, as we said, is this tool, the IP Enforcement Portal. And the IP Enforcement Portal consists of various modules. And we're going to look at today the modules that are targeted to enforcers. On one side, the exchange information model that will help the exchange between right holders and enforcers. And then later on, we will look at the report detention models. So I start with the exchange information model. And the exchange information model is just a platform where right holders can create an account and enter their product, IPR, and contact information. When we speak of product information, it's all the information that will help enforcers to distinguish fakes from genuine goods, meaning anything about images of originals versus fakes, authentication signs, labels, information about the logistics, where the production is, how the shipments go, all this information that will help enforcers to distinguish fakes. The enforcers have a search bar. They can search for company or brand or product, and then they get hits. The tool is built up on TeamView and DesignView, which are our trademark and design registers that contain not only EU trademarks or community designs, but also the information of national trademark registers of the member states, but also beyond, and also international trademarks appointing EU member states. So all this information can be found, meaning that even if a right holder has no account in IPEP, in the IP Enforcement Portal, enforcers will at least know if there's a valid right they can enforce. The trademark information is refreshed every night, and the enforcers know that what they find is one-to-one the same information as they would find in their national trademark registers. Additional value is that we filter out and we only show trademarks that are in status registered, because those are the trademarks that the enforcers can use for the enforcement actions to stop any goods that is likely to be IPR infringing. So this is the view of the enforcers. As I mentioned, the enforcer have the search bar, and it's a keyword search. The member states, the different authorities can filter the information by the member state. So if they filter by the member states, they will only find in the search result those IPRs they can apply in their member state, be it a national trademark, an international trademark appointing to the member state or the EU, or a EU trademark. So we already filtered this out. The search is done in different places at the same time. So it's a keyword search, and the engine search in the trademark register, in the designs register, but also in the geographical indications register. And it also looks out for any other IP right. For customs, there's an additional tab where they can also see if the right holder has filed a customs application for action, or if a search result is linked to a customs application for action. So this is also shown with the related customs application number. And of course, it also searches in IPEP for product information companies. So with one search, you get several hits. Of course, the most interesting information, especially for enforcers, for internal market enforcers, is the information on the company. And when they click on the company name, what they will find is information on the company, but very important, information on the contacts, on the enforcement contacts. Who can they call in their member state? Who speaks their language? The type of information that right holders upload regarding the products is the same information that will be found in the customs application for action. It's all about images of originals versus fake. The original have a green banner, the fakes have a red banner. And what we try is that the right holders who upload this information really zoom in what is interesting for the enforcers. So where the authentication sign, where I can distinguish that something is original, what does my label look like, what does my brand image look like, all this information. And then, of course, any other additional information that will be helpful for enforcers. Information about the packaging, what is a bulk packaging, what is the packaging for the end consumer, of course, with images, all this type of information that is necessary. What is very important for right holders to understand is that the idea is not to upload the entire product portfolio, but only some key product with some key images that will help the enforcers to identify product, link it to a certain company, and contact the company if they find products that are likely to be IPR infringing. We really try to inform or train our rights holders, our users, that they put the minimum information, but that this information is always updated. So the leitmotif here is always less is more. Rather have little information there, keep it updated, than trying to cover too much information and then have it outdated after a couple of months. So with all this information, when the enforcers open and get a search result and click on a product image, what they will be able to open what we call the image gallery. And they will be able to quickly zoom through the different images they find, search results, they just click through it. And under each image, they will find to which company the product belongs to, with the link to the product to the company information, what IPRs protect this particular product, so what trademarks, always with the link to the trademark register. Same for designs. And if there is a customs application for action linked, then also the reference to the customs application for action, always with links to the information. So this is a bit the idea of trying to give enforcers the possibility to get the information really quickly. Of course, with all this information entered into the IP Enforcement Portal, filing a EU customs application for action for right holders is pretty straightforward. And we are now integrating centrally with this central unit that handles all the EU AFAs at EU level, which will allow right holders very soon to use the IP enforcement portal as the e-filing tool, the general e-filing tool, and AFA management tool for the EU. For the time being, customs applications for actions can be filed in paper, and this will cease to exist by the end of this year, and all the AFAs will have to be filed electronically, which is very good news because it will increase the quality of information stored in the central databases of customs. So we're really very much looking for it. This will be a big change for the end of this year. Okay, so as I mentioned, the tool is all about the exchange of information. So we allow the information between right holders and enforcers go in two directions. Enforcement authorities, if they detain, they stop goods that are likely to be fake, they can take some pictures of these goods, upload them in the IP enforcement portal, and create what we call a suspicious case. Suspicious case will then contain some information on the detained goods, the images, and will be then stored. The right holder will receive an email notification with a deadline to reply, and he can then enter the case, look at the images, and then give a standard answer. I should maybe say here that, as you know, in the EU, we work in different languages. We have 23 official languages, and the tool is constructed that it can be viewed in all the languages. So the enforcer of one member state can work in his language, and the right holder in the other member state can reply in his own language. This is done because we use this drop-down menus, so everybody can work in his own language. And then, of course, we allow also to free text, but we try to overcome the language barrier we have. The advantage of this is that the information, all the intelligence, never leaves the tool. Everything stays in the tool. Pictures are no longer sent per email to the right holders. Everything is safely and securely stored in the IP enforcement portal. And the only thing that is sent out is our email notifications with links to the information, and then the user has to log into the system and view the information and answer. The suspicious case allows for multiple exchange of information, and then afterwards, once the case is closed, it is possible for the users to download the information to PDF and, for instance, take it to court, because in the PDF, all the information is recorded, all the exchanges are recorded, there are timestamps, when or who said what. So it's a very nice thing to take to court, or just to keep record of. And also the information enforcers can also export the suspicious cases into Excel. The other way around, from the direction from rights holders to police, we have what we call the alerts. The alerts are a sort of warning system to warn the enforcers about shipments coming in. Now, in practice, it's true that right holders very seldom know if there's a shipment coming in. They don't have this intelligence. It's very seldom. But with time, what we have discovered is that as the customs applications for action are only addressed to customs authorities, the internal market forces, police and market surveillance authority, don't get all this intelligence from the right holders. They don't get this information about the products and the IPRs. So a nice way of also passing this information along to the internal market forces is by the way of sending alerts, because the alerts contain, same as a customs application for action, they contain the contact information, they contain information about the IPRs in questions, and they contain the linked product information to those IPRs. So they have everything at the tips of the fingers. I should also say that the right holders decide with which authority they share what information. Product information is very sensitive, and it's the rights holder who decides to which authority of all the authorities accessing the IP enforcement portal they want to share the information. They may want to share some products and not others. Sometimes it's not only a trust issue. Sometimes it's as simple as that the packaging of a certain product is different in one member state than in other member states. So then you would share the information only with some of the authorities and not to others, not to confuse the enforcers. So, but it's always a right holder who keeps the control and decides with whom he shares. There is another type of alert that is the alert for right holders on online infringements that enforcers can receive from the right holders. And it's all about online pages selling fakes. This is more interesting for smaller companies and of course for the big brands, but small and medium enterprises very often don't know where to go when they find such a website and they can send this alert through the IP enforcement portal. Now, the enforcers can also send alerts among each other. It's a quite informal way of warning the colleagues of other authorities on IPR infringements, but let's say it's a quite informal way, but it's a secure way because it's a quick way of communication without too much formalities, but the information is stored securely in IPEP. It doesn't leave IPEP. And the enforcers have two options. They can send a normal alert to their colleagues or forward even an alert they have received, which they think is also interesting for others. But they can also create what we call an interesting case. An interesting case is automatically sent to all the other enforcement authorities that are registered in IPEP. But it's like a very quick DIN A4 sheet with some key images, key facts for quick communication to alert their colleagues about a certain trend of something they've spotted, which they think is interesting to share. Okay, this was the information on the exchange information with the main features and functionalities. The IP enforcement portal also contains another tool, which is the report detention tools. The report detention module is can be accessed also from IPEP, from the central IPEP view. There is a link to it, to the report detentions, and it records detentions both at the EU border and of the internal market, and it can generate reports. It can compare data. It contains detentions of the internal market since 2008 and border information of border detentions from 2012. So it has quite some amount of information, and what we are working now on is on a dashboard where enforcers can then use big data to compare these detention figures and create their own reports. You know, it's a huge amount of information, of intelligence that is contained there, and that when played a bit with big data, it allows for creating nice statistics and getting a very good overview of what is going on, of the countries of origins, of where the detentions are made, combining different types of IPRs, combining border detentions with internal market detentions, combining different types of products. So it allows a big play. For the time being, what we are doing with this data is we're publishing reports. They can be found on the web of the observatory of the EUIPO. You find the link to the observatory on the EUIPO webpage. And there you can find all our studies and also the retention reports to get an idea of what's going on in the EU in the last years. So to sum up, the IP enforcement portal is a tool that is fully supported by the EUIPO. It is free of charge. There are no costs involved or no fees involved for the users. Obviously, security is a key element to the portal. We have the same security standards as online banking. We undergo a security audit every year, the SOC 2 audit, to make sure that all our protocols are in place. With right holders, we undergo an authentication procedure for them to get access. And for enforcers, for customs, we are federated with their intranet, so they access from their own internal network, from intranet. And for police, they can only access from their premises via a static, secure IP address. So we always know when it's enforcer looking in. And as I mentioned before, the tool is multilingual. It works in the 23 languages. Right now, we have 70 authorities accessing the portal. It's, of course, the customs authorities of the member states, plus police and internal market authorities from the various member states.